Hello, everyone. We are now going to go over the peripheral blood flow cytometry from a 6-year-old boy with pancytopenia, lymphadenopathy, and hepatosplenomegaly. So we are starting with the T cell tube, and let's start with CD45 versus site scatter. We see a large population of lymphocytes here, and when we see CD3 versus site scatter, we see a lot of T cells. And here we see that when CD2 versus CD7, we could see three different populations here that are split. And the red and green population that are positive for both 7 and 2 are actually the 4 and 8 positive T cells. We have the 4 positive cells painted red, the 8 positive cells painted green. So they are both positive for 7 and 2. And the yellowish orange population that we see here, these are positive for CD2. They have a variable expression of CD7. Those are negative for CD56 and 16. And they are negative for both 4 and 8. So if we see here again, they are negative for CD4. They have a variable CD7. And they are positive for both CD3 and CD5. And negative for CD10. So basically they're T cells. Let's just focus on the yellow population here. The yellow population are T cells. They are positive for CD3, positive for CD5, positive for CD2. They have a variable 7. However, they're negative for both CD4 and CD8. So now let's look at the patient's history again. So this is a child with pancytopenia, lymphadenopathy, and hepatosplenomegaly. So in this background, when you see 4-8 double negative T cells, you have to think about a condition which is called autoimmune lymphoproliferative syndrome. So autoimmune lymphoproliferative syndrome is a genetic disorder. You see lymphoid proliferation because of there is defect in the apoptosis, because these patients have mutations in the FAS gene, and so there is defective apoptosis, and they present with pancytopenias or variable cytopenias. They'll have splenomegaly, hepatomegaly, and lymphadenopathy. And one interesting thing is, because there is defective apoptosis, there is rapid proliferation of alpha beta T cells. So we need to see if these CD4 negative and 8 negative T cells are all alpha beta. So they particularly have double negative alpha beta T cells. And the criteria is that these double negative alpha beta T cells should be greater than 1.5% of all lymphocytes, and at least greater than 2.5% of T cells. So let's see if these are, number one, expressing all alpha beta, and number two, if they satisfy the number criteria. So in our second tube, we have some T cell markers, and we have alpha beta and gamma delta. So I apologize here. Again, the population is shown in the same color, yellowish orange. However, all the other viable cells are in this light green, and it kind of is hard to appreciate this as a distinct population. But please try hard and see that you can see the orange population here behind these viable cells. So basically the 4 and 8 double negative T cells are here, and these are the background normal CD4 positive cells and CD8 positive cells. Now, if we go to alpha, beta, and gamma delta, again, these cells are hiding behind this red population, so it's not very obvious here, but you can see that these are not seen in the gamma delta area. So they are negative for gamma delta, so they have to be alpha, beta. But here in CD4 versus TCR alpha, beta, here you can see that population a little better. If you see here, you can see that orange population. So seen a little more easily when the background is green. So we have that here. So basically here in this case, you have a population that is negative for 4 and 8, and they are all expressing alpha beta. Now, if you see in the table, we see that there are 30% lymphocyte, 32% lymphocytes, that is of all the cells in the specimen, 32.6% are lymphocytes. Of the 32.6%, 95% of the lymphocytes are expressing alpha beta. That's kind of the normal, because majority of the circulating T cells are alpha beta. So that's normal, but they usually are either CD4 or CD8 positive. We don't have a lot of circulating double negative T cells. So that's what is different here. And when we see that, when you see that these alpha beta T cells are 31% of all cells, of these 13% are CD4 positive, 6% are A positive, and our double negative T cells account for 10.8% of all cells. That is almost 11% of all lymphocytes, and they are 35% of T cells. So it's way above the minimum criteria that is required. Our minimum criteria, if you remember, is greater than 1.5% of all cells. Here we have 11%, and greater than 2.5% of T cells, and here we have 35%. So this satisfies the criteria for autoimmune lymphoproliferative syndrome. So there are required criteria and accessory criteria, and you can see them in this chapter. And you need at least 2 of the criteria for diagnosing ALPS. One thing we have to remember is ALPS can present with symptoms like cytopenias and organomegalies. And the other thing is these patients are prone to develop B-cell lymphomas, both Hodgkin and non-Hodgkin. So that is another importance in identifying ALPS, and to kind of keep an eye on them for regular follow-ups and to see if they develop B-cell lymphomas. So when you see peripheral blood is also considered a better specimen than lymph nodes and other tissue specimens. And when you see a good sizable population of 4-8 double negative T cells, it is always a good idea to add on to this other tube to see if these 4-8 double negatives are all your alpha beta positive T cells. Thank you.